James Kaufman, World News Report today. Today is August 30th, 2023, 5:30 p.m. Central here in the U.S. God bless you and yours no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. We've had Hurricane Idalia, now Tropical Storm Idalia, work its way onshore as a Category 3 hurricane, quickly across Florida into Georgia, and now it will be exiting back into the Gulf as it goes through South Carolina and perhaps parts of North Carolina. We will take a look at that very soon. We also have Hurricane Franklin just offshore of the United States. We have a new tropical depression, number 11 here. Tropical depression number 11, 35 mile per hour winds. Let's get a central pressure there if they have one. 1,014 millibars, not very strong. We have something dying out here with a 10% chance of formation. And then we have a new disturbance with a 50% chance of formation coming off the African coast currently. All right, over to my Fox Hurricane, taking a look at Tropical Storm Idalia now. You can see all the moisture still being pulled out of the Gulf and the Caribbean to join in with this storm. It's made it itself onshore there in Florida, went across parts of Georgia, covered most all of South Carolina, and is going to try to exit somewhere over North Carolina, if not before. Currently, we still have sustained winds of 60 miles an hour. I'm glad that the storm is moving quickly, but we do have a lot of moisture joining this from both the Gulf and the Caribbean, as mentioned, and it looks like it's intensifying as it makes it into the open water here. All right, yesterday, when we had all the spaghetti models taking it back around into the Caribbean, the Bahamas perhaps, into the Gulf of Mexico even, now we have this. This is the actual storm path, or the best predicted storm path by the National Weather Service and NOAA, and they have it exiting right there in between South Carolina and North Carolina, still with 60 mile per hour sustained winds. They're saying 70 mile per hour sustained winds currently, and still a very low central pressure, 984 millibars. They don't see it strengthening. They see it actually weakening. 60, 50 Friday here into Saturday, still with 50 mile per hour sustained winds. And then they have it steering towards the northeast. Now we will look at some videos of the destruction in just a moment after we cover what's going on currently. So here we are, a bunch of spaghetti models by all the modeling agencies chiming in. Like I said, it's going to leave back into the Atlantic. From there, I guess it's anyone's guess. We have one model taking it back into the Bahamas here, and several others taking it into a easterly or east-southeast direction with my, most trusted model, the TABD, taking it pretty much due east. All right, you can see that this video is only a few moments old. We see, of course, Franklin out there, still fairly strong, still a Category 2 or 3 hurricane. It's not going to hit the U.S. East Coast, and it's probably not going to touch any part of North America. That would include Nova Scotia and all of Canada. What we do have is we can also see Idalia coming off the coast of the U.S., and it does, in fact, look like it's strengthening. I guess there's always a probability, since Idalia is moving so quickly, that it actually could join Franklin and become some sort of a superstorm. I want to point one more thing out. Tropical depression number 11 strengthening very quickly right there. Let's take a look at what that's going to do. What if all three of these got together? All right, this is not Franklin. This is not Idalia. This is Tropical Depression number 11. Most models have it harmlessly strengthening and going, splitting the continents and heading north towards the Arctic Circle. One model of course, my go-to model, the TAPD, has it headed straight over towards Europe, Western Europe, probably with an impact zone in Spain, France, or something like that. Worst case scenario is Franklin gets caught up with the storm, and even Idalia, as we discussed, and a superstorm hits something somewhere. All right, this is the new tropical wave. You'll see another one coming right after that. This one's just come off the continent of Africa. It has not been named yet. It has a 40% chance of formation currently. The one behind it even looks stronger. We'll have to see how this plays out. This one is again unnamed tropical wave with one following it right off the coast of Africa here. Now, we're looking at the Sierra air layer or sandstorm, and we can see they're trying to create some action here. We're going to have sand all throughout the Caribbean again, all throughout, I'm afraid, the Gulf of Mexico eventually here. You can see, I believe, Franklin, perhaps tropical depression number 11 moved north, and it sure doesn't strengthen when looking at the Sahara air layer. What's allowed all the action in this area lately is the lack of the sand that regularly pushes down these cyclones. All right, we'll start out here with Eunice Epstein Ortiz posting some videos from, believe it or not, St. Petersburg. That's right, you don't have to be anywhere near the eye of the hurricane for this type of flooding and damage. These homes are basically ruined, ladies and gentlemen. See what else is going on. Charles R. Down sends this in. And, ladies and gentlemen, he says it made landfall as a Cat 4. Maybe I misunderstood. I thought it made landfall as a Category 3 hurricane. But more importantly than that, remember, the storm surge is the most dangerous. Look at the water coming onto these beaches here. The power of water is something that's hard to explain. I've almost drowned 4 or 5 times surfing larger waves around the globe, and let me tell you what, it's relentless, unforgiving. This is the main reason you need to be away from the beach anytime a large hurricane is headed towards you or anywhere around you, period. All right, and here's some first footage coming out of Keaton, where they said that they had 125 mile per hour winds, Category 3. Get that bed just sitting there. The TV. And someone had a drone and got some pretty great footage. Let's see. There's not as much damage as I would have thought, especially since this is on a canal here. Every shingle on the roof is gone. This is what it's really like to be in a hurricane. This is Perry, Florida, ladies and gentlemen. Not a good place to be. This gentleman is driving around. That tent could come off that roof, or that roof could come off that roof in no time, as you see here. Not a good scene. And finally, back to Keaton Beach. They took a hit for sure. Can you even imagine? This is hundreds of feet on shore, if not further. And you can see that all these buildings and or homes are completely ruined after this little show and tell. Mother Nature cleaning up the mess we made. All right, taking a look at what the storm did as far as electrical power. We have Georgia with over 213,000 customers without power. Florida with over 211,000 customers without power. South Carolina currently, I'm sure it's growing, has about 23,000 customers without power. And rounding out the Big Five, California with over 14,000 households without power that could be due to winds or fires. Texas, because of heavy winds this week, we still have over 4,000 homes in central Texas without power. With that said, God bless each and every one of you guys. Please share, please subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible in Bizarro World.